from the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day, this is Dateline Malacañang, and here are the news. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has ordered the immediate mobilization of concerned government agencies and resources to ensure the swift recovery of families affected by Tropical Storm Bashang International Name Penha. President Marcos gave the directive when he convened select cabinet members and governors from calamity-hit areas at the Malacañang Palace in Manila Wednesday. The Presidential Communications Office, or PCO, in a Facebook post on Thursday said that during the meeting, President Marcos directed concerned national and local government offices to facilitate the faster and more orderly relief and recovery efforts. President Marcos also emphasized the importance of early release of funds for pre-disaster preparedness, fast-tracking the processes for immediate aid distribution, and swifter distribution of seeds to farmers. The government has disbursed over 9.2 million pesos for the distribution of assistance to around 1,297 affected families, according to a situation report released by the National Disaster Reduction and Management Council, or NDRRMC, Wednesday. A total of 182,352 families, or 645,612 persons from 1,285 villages were displaced during Bashang's onslaught. Bashang, which made landfall in Bayabas, Surigao del Sur on February 5, has claimed 12 lives and injured 36 others. Around 170 houses were totally damaged, while 1,203 others were partially damaged by the storm.
Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. Thursday led the inauguration of the rehabilitated Mahayag Dam in Zamboanga del Sur, signaling renewed support for farming communities in the province. With its long-awaited operationalization, the upgraded Mahayag Dam now ensures efficient water diversion, improves irrigation reliability and agricultural productivity in the region, and enhances flood control to safeguard homes and livelihoods. Originally built in 1967 during the administration of the late President Ferdinand E. Marcos Sr., the Mahayag Dam is a key component of the Salug River Irrigation System, or Salug RIS, providing water to over 5,000 hectares of farmland. Severe flooding in late 2022 and early 2023 partially destroyed the dam, disrupting irrigation services and threatening nearby communities in Mahayag, Molave, Ramon Magsaysay, and Suminot. The National Irrigation Administration, or NIA, in coordination with the Office of Civil Defense and the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, oversaw the rehabilitation, which was funded with 450 billion pesos from the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Fund. More than 3,100 farmers and their families are expected to benefit from the dam, which regulates the flow of water in the Salug River and supplies irrigation to nearby rice fields. He added that the dam also helps communities prepare for and remain safe during the rainy season. During the ceremony, the president also led the turnover of 20 solar-powered pump irrigation projects, or SPIPs, to 635 farmers across the Zamboanga Peninsula, Region 9, which will enhance local irrigation systems using clean, affordable, alternative energy. Irrigators Association will manage the distribution and maintenance of water, while the National Irrigation Administration will oversee the specialized solar panels and pump systems.
Ay pinapasinayaan natin ang Mahayag Dam, isang major diversion structure para sa Salug River Irrigation System in Zamboanga del Sur. Sa pamamagitan ng proyektong ito, inaasahan natin mas mapapabuti ang water diversion, irigasyon, at iba pang gawain pang-agrikultura ng rehiyon. Tinatayang higit 3,100 magsasaka at ang kanilang mga pamilya ang makikinabang dito sa ating proyekto na ito. Ibig sabihin, magiging tuloy-tuloy na ang supply ng tubig. Hindi lamang mapaparami ang inyong mga ani, mapapanatag din kayo na matutugunan ninyo ang araw-araw ninyong pangangailangan. Sa pagsasaayos ng Mahayag Dam, hindi lamang tayo nag-iimbak ng tubig, nag-iimbak din tayo ng pag-asa at magandang kinabukasan. Kaya po, ito ay magandang halimbawa sa ating sinasabi na build better and more. Kaya po, ay hindi lamang basta tinayo yung dati, kundi pinaganda pa, pinatibay pa, pinalaki pa. Makaka-aasa po kayong patuloy ang administrasyong ito sa pagbibigay sa ating mga magsasaka ng mas mabilis na access sa ganyan sari-saring teknolohiya, sa sari-saring pagsasanay, suporta pa para umangat at maging mas maginhawa pa ang inyong mga buhay.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other agency news, the Department of Public Works and Highways, or DPWH, once again encouraged young professionals and fresh graduates to be part of the agency's transformation and reform. DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon told students who participated in the DPWH Job Fair held at De La Salle University, or DLSU, in Manila. More than 400 applicants participated in the second DPWH Job Fair, which will continue in various schools and universities nationwide. Last month, hundreds of fresh graduates and students attended the first DPWH Job Fair held in Mapua University in Manila. The job fair is being conducted upon the order of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. to recruit idealistic and dynamic young professionals to restore public trust in the government. Aside from engineers, the DPWH is also looking for accountants who will audit government projects. The recruitment of young, idealistic Filipinos is being done in the wake of the massive flood control corruption scandal in the DPWH, involving not only its officials but also politicians and people from the private sector.
Dateline Malacañang.
Interior Secretary John Vic Remulla said close to 1,000 active and retired Bureau of Fire Protection, or BFP, employees, including its chief, will face criminal charges over alleged anomalies inside the agency. Remulla said he would ask President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. to replace Jesus Fernandez. The BFP is under the Department of the Interior and Local Government, or DILG. Remulla said they aim to file the cases next week. Remulla said the respondents will come from BFP units across the country, but most are in Metro Manila. He said the DILG is preparing administrative charges against the entire BFP unit in Silang, Cavite over an alleged money-making racket that has victimized small businessmen, including one of his nephews.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippine National Police, or PNP, expressed readiness to secure the third part of the anti-corruption protest dubbed as Trillion Peso March set later this month. The National Capital Region Police Office, NCRPO, has been tasked to ensure the deployment and mobilization of police personnel and assets for the planned protest action. PNP Chief General Jose Melencio Nartates Jr. said they are now reviewing and updating their security plan for the event. The goal, he said, is to ensure peace and order while respecting the rights of the people to assemble and freedom of speech. The anti-corruption rally on February 25 will be organized by Caritas Philippines, along with other civil society organizations. Organizers said activities leading up to the Trillion Peso March will run from February 22 to 23. Nartates said he already tasked the NCRPO and other police commanders to meet and coordinate with the organizers to ensure the events are conducted safely and peacefully. Prior to the protest action, a concert will be held on February 21 that will also have the fight against corruption as its centerpiece. The event, dubbed People Power 40 Kickoff Concert, will be held at the Quezon Memorial Circle in Quezon City and will feature some of the country's top performers, including Ogie Alcacid, Jano Gibbs, River Maya, Ice Seguera, Ebidancel, Pio Balbuena Morobits, Elmo Magalona, Arkin Magalona, Chelsea Ali, and Over October. Adding color to the celebration are Unkabogable Stars, Vice Ganda, stand-up comedians Alex Calleja, and Red Oliero, Iza Calzado, and DJ Jai Ho. Through this event, the organizers, Mayors for Good Governance or M4GG, and Kaya Natin aim to reinforce that fighting corruption is a shared responsibility for all Filipinos. The concert will be held in connection with the 40th anniversary of the People Power Revolution. Pre-show will begin at 4 in the afternoon while the main concert will start at 6 in the evening.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippine Coast Guard or PCG continued its search for 26 missing passengers of the sunken MV Trisha Kirsten 3 in the waters of Balok-Balok Island in Basilan. In a situation update, the PCG said a technical diving group or TDG attempted to search the first deck portside cabin of the ferry but encountered strong underwater currents. However, the TDG shifted to a secondary target, the vessel's VIP accommodation section, in line with established dive safety protocols. The underwater conditions in the secondary target were safer and more manageable, but the divers found no blood instead. To date, the total survivors of the incident remain at 293, and 53 persons have been confirmed dead based on consolidated data from the Philippine National Police Scene of the Crime Operatives, City Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office, and PCG District, Southwestern Mindanao, as well as coordination with affected families. On Wednesday, Acting Transportation Secretary Giovanni Lopez announced the filing of criminal and administrative charges against the operator of the sunken vessel Alison Shipping Line, as well as culpable executives of the Maritime Industry Authority or Marina. During a press conference, Lopez also announced the sacking of 8 Marina personnel and 5 PCG workers for allowing the vessel to sail despite glaring safety deficiencies.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippine Department of Interior and Local Government or DILG has doubled the reward for any information that could lead to the arrest of fugitive businessman Charlie Atong Ang. DILG Secretary John Vic Remulla said at a press briefing on Thursday that adding the money will be sourced from the confidential funds provided to the DILG and the Philippine National Police or PNP. Ang, who has 3 standing warrants of arrest, is the principal accused in the disappearance of 34 sabungeros or cockfight enthusiasts allegedly involved in game fixing. His 20 co-accused, which include dismissed and active policemen, have all been arrested. Remulla said police manhunt against Ang in the country is ongoing despite claims that the businessman has already fled abroad, particularly to Cambodia. However, Remulla said they believe he is still in the country, adding that Cambodian authorities have reported that Ang is not in Cambodia. In a related development, the PNP on Thursday said it is committed to further intensify coordinated efforts against the resurgence of illegal online cockfighting or isabong in the country. PNP Chief General Jose Melencio Nartates Jr. said he already tasked police commanders down to the cities and municipalities to provide assistance to the Anti-Cybercrime Group, ACG, in terms of monitoring and intelligence gathering as to the sources of the live feeds in their respective areas of responsibility. Nartates said the PNP ACG and the intelligence group IG have been working together in tracking and shutting down illegal isabong operations in line with the directive of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. and Remulla to rid the country of all forms of illegal gambling.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, urged the Senate and the House of Representatives to immediately pass the measure setting a new date for the Bangsamoro Parliamentary Elections, or BPE. COMELEC Chairperson George Garcia, in an interview, said their commitment is to conduct the BPE against all odds. This was after the COMELEC thanked Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. for including the proposed BPE law among the government's 21 priority measures during the recent Legislative Executive Development Advisory Council, or LEDAC, meeting. Senate Bill 1823 has been brought to the plenary, while House Bill 7236 remains pending at the committee level. After two postponements from May 2022 to May 2025 and from May 2025 to October 13 last year, the BPE was again supposed to be held on March 30, but the COMELEC had to defer it due to time constraints.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Council for the Welfare of Children, CWC, has released a Parent's Pocket Guide aimed at helping families prevent child sexual abuse through open communication, body safety education, and digital vigilance. In a series of guide cards shared in its Facebook page on Thursday, the CWC underscored that child sexual abuse awareness, or CSAA, is a difficult but necessary conversation that must begin at home. One of the key messages of the campaign is "My Body, My Rules," reminding parents that children should understand they are the boss of their own bodies. While Filipino culture often uses nicknames or baby talk to refer to private body parts, experts recommend teaching children the correct anatomical names. According to the CWC, this makes it easier for children to clearly report inappropriate behavior and reduces confusion if something wrong happens. Children should also be taught that they have the right to refuse or say no to hugs, kisses, or tickling that make them uncomfortable, even if these come from relatives or close family friends. By learning about boundaries, children gain the confidence to speak up when their personal space is violated. The guide also explains the difference between surprises and secrets. Surprises such as birthday gifts or parties are fun and temporary, with an expiration date, meaning they will eventually be revealed at the right time. Secrets, on the other hand, are often kept for a long time and may involve hiding information from others. The CWC emphasized the importance of maintaining open communication at home so children feel they have a safe space to talk. Parents were likewise urged to monitor their children's online activities, noting that predators are not only outside but can also be found on social media platforms and online games. The agency also encouraged families to create a family safety plan, ensuring children know the trusted adults they can approach and the emergency contacts they can call. CWC underscored that safety begins in a home and community built on trust, respect, and constant guidance. Those who know a child in need of help or experiencing abuse, discrimination, or bullying may contact the Makabata Helpline 1383.
Dateline Malacañang.
An official of the National Authority for Child Care, NACC, an attached agency of the Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, urged individuals who previously simulated the birth records of their children under their care or of children under their care to avail of the rectification process under Republic Act 11222 or the Simulated Birth Rectification Act of 2019. Assistant Secretary Rowena Macalintal of the NACC's Operations and Services said RA 11222 provides an amnesty mechanism for those who committed simulations of birth certificates before 2019, allowing them to correct records and undergo proper legal adoption without penalty, subject to compliance with the law's requirements. She said a simulation of birth records is a criminal offense that carries serious consequences. Macalinta laid out the filing process, noting that RA 11222 has a sunset provision wherein the amnesty can only be availed until 2029, which is the 10th year from the law's effectivity in 2019. She said a petition should be filed before the local Social Welfare and Development Office for the rectification of the simulated birth certificate. Once the adoption decree is issued, the birth certificate can be amended to show that you are one is the illegitimate parent of the children that was adopted without incurring penalty. Makalintal encouraged concerned individuals to coordinate with the proper authorities while the amnesty provision remains in effect. She also appealed to mothers in crisis not to abandon their children in unsafe conditions, stressing that support mechanisms are available. Makalintal assured that these individuals would not be held liable for abandonment and would instead be given proper counseling and other appropriate interventions. The DSWD and NACC continue to strengthen public awareness on lawful adoption and child protection processes, ensuring that children's rights to identity, protection, and family are upheld in accordance with existing laws.
Dateline Malacañang.
Executive Secretary Ralph Recto has called on the newly appointed prosecutors to exercise neutrality and remain apolitical in serving justice. Recto made a call as he administered the oath of office to the 140 new prosecutors of the Department of Justice's or DOJ's National Prosecution Service (NPS) in a ceremony at the Malacañang Palace. Recto emphasized the importance of the rule of law and prosecutors' duty to uphold justice with integrity and fairness. He urged the new appointees to refrain from making any preferential treatment, reminding them that they must stick to evidence and remain free from bias and manipulation. Recto stressed that as the newest members of the DOJ-NPS, they serve as both justice's fiercest advocate and democracy's strongest guardrail. Recto told the new prosecutors to embody the highest standards of integrity, intelligence, and diligence when representing the people. Also present during the oath-taking ceremony were DOJ Secretary Frederic Vida, Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Annalisa Logan, Senior Deputy Executive Secretary Maria Lualhati Dorotan Chuseco, Deputy Executive Secretary for Legal Affairs Jesse Hermogenes Andres, and DOJ Undersecretary Ian Norman Dato. The prosecutors are deployed to prosecution offices nationwide to strengthen the DOJ's prosecutorial capacity, reduce caseloads, and advance the President's directive to eliminate case backlogs and accelerate the delivery of justice.
Dateline Malacañang.
Finally, for Dateline Malacañang, the Philippine Department of National Defense or DND Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. said the 5 coastal surveillance radars provided by the Japanese government through its Official Security Assistance or OSA program can be readily integrated into the country's existing military radar systems. Asked if there will be issues in the integration of these surveillance systems, he said that has already been taken into account before the OSA has been granted. The integration problem has, he said, been worked on extensively, and the add-ons to the systems will always be interoperable with the country's main systems. Teodoro did not give further details on how this was done due to security reasons. The Philippine military operates a variety of radar systems for its coastal monitoring and air surveillance missions. These 5 coastal surveillance radars, worth 600 million yen, were formally transferred to the Philippines last February 11. It will be operated by the Philippine Navy and consist of radar units, surveillance and monitoring equipment, communication systems, and other support components designed to strengthen coastal monitoring and maritime security operations. The integration of these systems is expected to expand surveillance coverage, improve early detection and tracking of surface contacts, and enhance coordination in maritime operations. The capability will support intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance missions, humanitarian assistance and disaster response, and other lawful security operations. The turnover of these radar systems were finalized during the November 2023 visit of then Japanese Prime Minister Kishida Fumio to the country, where Japan and the Philippines exchanged notes for the provision of these equipment to the PN. Teodoro thanked the Japanese government for its concrete contributions in the widening and deepening of our bilateral and multilateral ties with the Philippines with the end view of a free and open Indo-Pacific region and maintaining regional peace and stability. He also expressed confidence that the Philippines' relationship with Japan will continue to grow stronger in the coming years due to the mutual trust and sincerity enjoyed by the two nations.
Dateline Malacañang.
And that is all for today's Dateline Malacañang for Radyo Pilipinas World Service. This has been Bea Gaza-de Guzman.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.